Edge AI is shaping up to be one of the most significant technological advances of the decade. By moving data processing and AI closer to the data source, Edge AI is improving real time insights, lowering latency, and revolutionizing industries. Whether in autonomous vehicles, smart manufacturing, or healthcare, this technology enables faster, localized decision making while addressing the challenges of big data transmission. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Analytics Insight podcast, where we talk about the ever evolving tech space. And I'm your host, Priya Dialani. Now, artificial intelligence is in the midst of a profound transformation, moving beyond the centralized, cloud based models that have dominated its recent history. The next era of AI is being defined by three major paradigms: edge AI, quantum AI, and emerging hybrid intelligence models. These innovations are not just incremental improvements, but in fact, they represent a fundamental shift in how, where, and why AI is deployed. Joining us today is Mohamed Irfan Peeran, CEO VDart Digital, to talk about where AI is heading in 2026, specifically Edge AI, and why it's gaining industry traction, along with the hybrid intelligence models, and how does the future look like. Hi Irfan, how are you doing?
Hi, Priya. I'm doing very good. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to get in front of your audience and discuss about the most important topic that's relevant today, and everybody is, concerned about where it's headed.
Definitely, Irfan, and it's a pleasure to have you on our podcast likewise. And of course, I think hybrid intelligence models is something very new to me, to be honest, and I'm really glad to be able to learn more about it through you today on this podcast. So, before we dive deeper into our core discussion today, let's start by telling our listeners more about VDart Digital. So, if you could help us understand more about the company, its specialization, it would be great.
Absolutely. So, VDart Digital, we help enterprises modernize, transform, and adopt AI with confidence. So, we are a global digital engineering and technology consulting firm. I've been in business for a little over 8 years, working with Fortune 1000 companies across the US, Canada, Middle East, India, and Malaysia. So, lately, our specialization, has been on AI and Gen AI solutions, and we started off specializing in the cloud and the data engineering, cybersecurity, and implementing and supporting enterprise platforms like Oracle, SAP, and other supply chain technologies as well. So what differentiates us in our outcome driven delivery model is our deep domain expertise and the ability to stand up high performing teams that accelerate time to value for our clients. So, if I have to simply put, we turn strategy into execution and execution into measurable business outcomes. So, if I were to give a simple example on what we are seeing in the AI, Gen AI space today, and what we are bringing to our customers is how can they adopt purposeful AI through industry-ready accelerators and domain-trained models and pod-based delivery teams. So there's a shift happening from more of predictive analytics and intelligent automations to Gen AI-powered co-pilots and content transformation. So we design those AI solutions that deliver measurable business impact. And similarly, in all the other areas, we are very focused on how we can create value for our clients and our clients' consumers, right? And what's really helping us and our clients is we our global presence. So we are able to deliver faster and with more or less like a 24/7 with multi-shore teams. For our clients based here in the US, it's onshore, on-site, near shore, and offshore options are available, and so is for other geographies. And we've also invested in accelerators, like building AI solutions. Like we launched a product called LendSmart AI that's predominantly for the lending, banking, where lending takes a lot of time, so much of paperwork, and how do you really efficiently do that and cutting down the time, right? And we are helping large enterprises with the AI strategy and a roadmap, and also their playbooks, and so on and so forth.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that overview, Irfan. And we are really glad to understand how VDart, an organization like yours, are shaping the industry by designing solutions that can help businesses drive measurable outcomes. And I think what really stands out is the way you've combined innovation with real world impact. And I think I mean, it sets the stage perfectly for everything we are going to explore today. Now that our audience has a strong understanding of your core mission and expertise, I would love to dig a little deeper into your journey, Irfan, and the role you play in driving the vision forward. You are a seasoned transformational, strategic thinker, and you possess over 20 years of diverse international professional experience managing people, processes, technology, programs, and business. You also have a passion and knack for solving critical business and technical problems effectively and efficiently through collaboration. So we would like to know more about you, Irfan. How has your journey been till date? And what triggered your interest at VDart Digital? And what exactly is your role at the company today?
Thank you. So my journey has been amazing for the last, couple of decades, almost 3 decades now. It's been nothing but learning every day. And what I am today is everything that has happened in the past, and I am able to bring that to VDart Digital. So my current focus is, transforming us into a global, future-ready digital engineering and AI powerhouse. So as you said, over the years, I have led the expansion of multi-shore delivery models across India and in every places that we have presence, including the US, UAE, and Malaysia. And we have built, in the last year or so, high-performing, teams that specialize in the AI, cloud, digital engineering, and I'm proud to say that a company of our size is able to support some of the world's largest enterprises today. So my role today, clearly spans across, strategy, growth, innovation, and how do I execute that as, bringing higher the leadership team and strive for the delivery excellence, and how shape the company and how we bring purposeful AI to our customers, right? And I've been deeply involved in building our models, and also strengthening our data and the cloud ops capabilities, launching industry solutions that which I talked about earlier. And if I have to kind of summarize, I'm very hands-on, so I work very closely with my clients and support our teams and stay fully engaged in how we scale our operations and culture. So I strongly believe in building trust, empowering our teams and talent, and driving outcomes that actually move the businesses forward. And that's the kind of the philosophy that guides how I lead VDart Digital and how we create impact globally. So we are client first and employee first, or people first organization. That's how we are going to continue to grow and excel in this space.
Definitely, Irfan. And I think it's important, like leaders like you who shape the direction of the organization, not just through strategy, but through hands-on impact and vision. And I think I'm really glad to know that how interconnected your role is with the company's broader mission, especially at a time when the industry is evolving so rapidly. With that context in mind, I would love to take the conversation a step further and explore more about edge AI and hybrid AI intelligence. So edge AI matters because it addresses the growing demand for real-time processing in a world driven by connected devices. With billions of IoT devices projected to be connected by 2027, traditional cloud infrastructure won't be able to handle the bandwidth efficiently. So the future of AI is not about a single technology, but about the intelligent integration of multiple paradigms. And emerging hybrid intelligent models combines the strength of different AI approaches to create systems that are robust, efficient, and scalable. So, how do you think enterprises are moving from centralized cloud AI to edge based and hybrid AI intelligence?
Actually, there's a lot of noise today about enterprises rapidly shifting from centralized cloud AI to edge intelligence. Right? The popular belief is that very soon AI will live closer to the action. Like it could be inside the factories, vehicles, retail stores, and even the entire districts. So decisions, happen instantly without depending on round trips to the cloud. And the cloud becomes the brain for heavy training, and the edge becomes the reflex system for the real-time action, right? So many see this as a dramatic shift that will make businesses faster, safer, and far more cost efficient. But there's a path to get there, right? And what's really happening on the ground, and what we are seeing is the transition is far more deliberate than dramatic. Like most enterprises still rely heavily on cloud AI and are cautiously extending capabilities to the edge in stages, right? It could be, physical environments like oil rigs in oil and gas industry, and vehicles in the automotive, and so on and so forth, right? So they all come with a lot of legacy debt, including the legacy hardware and bandwidth limitations and safety constraints. So that means, like, you really see a full edge model today. But instead, I mean to say, you're rarely seeing a full edge model today. Instead, works as a hybrid AI, and the cloud still powers deeper intelligence and training and long in a horizon analytics, while the edge is used for real-time bandwidth sensitive or a safety critical decisions, right? So I'll give you a good example of this in the real estate, and smart districts, where we are really, as consumers, we're looking for the next best thing that's can help us in our homes that we live in, and also the communities that we live in. We are helping build smart districts, where residents and visitors get personalized experiences, like be it navigation, access control, community engagement, and so on and so forth. So edge really enables these interactions to function offline, not necessarily going back and forth to the cloud. Why? The cloud syncs the data and runs the larger district level optimization. So this hybrid model, gives the customers the seamless experience without being dependent on the network capability, and at the same time not costing a fortune for on an ongoing basis. One of the things that everybody is seeing is that their opex is continuing to increase because of everything that's happening around the technology today, right? So I would say edge is definitely coming, but it's not a big switch. It has to be thoughtful, and it needs to be a hybrid evolution where cloud intelligence and edge responsiveness work hand in hand and together, right? And we are already enabling this model across industries with real-time deployments and not just concepts. And the next step, yeah, year 2, 3 down the road, and that hybrid model will start to disappear, and it's going to be more of purely edge.
That's a fascinating breakdown, Irfan, and thank you for doing that. And I think we will be slowly and gradually entering this phase where intelligence isn't just about centralization in massive cloud clusters anymore, but I think it is going to be far more distributed, dynamic, and responsive. And I think it's also interesting when we have this hybrid architecture and how it's rewriting the roles of both edge and cloud. And like you said, I think when we talk about edge, it is no longer about data collection, and the cloud is also no longer a sole decision making powerhouse. Instead, they are starting to complement each other in ways that balance agility, privacy, and scale. Now,
Absolutely. And to add to that, Priya, will be also even the hyperscalers, right? They are bringing edge to the customers themselves, right? So that how can they leverage that instead of spending a fortune on building large data centers?
Right, definitely. And I think several key industries are already set to be transformed by this conversion of quantum AI and hybrid intelligence systems. And these sectors are some that deal with complex, high-stake problems that are currently at the limits of classical computing. And I think they become like the ideal candidates for these new technologies. For example, finance and banking. I think there's a lot that we deal in the finance and banking sector, and this combination can definitely do wonders in this sector. So, can you elaborate on VDart Digital's approach of enabling enterprises to scale without disrupting operations?
Yeah. See, there's again a common belief in the industry that enterprises can scale new digital or AI capabilities without disrupting ongoing operations. The idea sounds elegant, right? Micro upgrades, reusable platforms, silent deployment, and everything just works without anyone noticing it. All of this happens on the back end, right? But leaders also talk about phased rollouts, plug and play architectures, and the zero disruption transformation. But the real world story is more nuanced. Some level of disruption is inevitable. So teams need to be trained, data needs to be cleaned, and processes needs to be adapted. And legacy systems don't always cooperate. And we are still in the process of, there's a lot of legacy debt, and modernization is happening to transform those legacy debts, right, and legacy systems. So the organizations that scale successfully aren't the ones that they're trying to eliminate disruption, but the ones who plan for it. How do you control it, and how do you face it intelligently? So they treat scaling as a measured journey and not an overnight switch. It doesn't happen at this time. There's a lot of planning that is involved, and that's where teams come together and see what is the best possible option to go through that journey, right? And we been through this journey with some of our clients, and I can give you an example of in for one of our automotive clients, how global remote app experiences rollouts through canary deployments where we were able to achieve, right? So we engineered global mobile solutions for connected vehicles. It's remote controls, vehicle status and identity features and personalized experience for the drivers and so on and so forth. So these functionalities, instead of launching globally in one sweep, we use what we call as canary releases, right? And it's a lot of companies are doing this now. So you start with a very small set of internal users. You select what the pilot markets are. You only after stability and user feedback were validated with this small internal users or the pilot markets, and you expand market by market, right? So this meant that the global system scaled reliably without affecting existing driver experiences. So think about this. You're pushing this software that the drivers are going to be heavily using it, and cars today and vehicles for that matter, there's a huge component of technology in it, and you cannot and if you look at autonomous cars, they're technology dependent, and one small error that you make, it could be, it could create a chaos, right? So I think it's a step-by-step process, and yes, the scaling, should feel steady and not stressful, and you don't avoid disruption, and you need to manage it. So reusable architectures give, everybody the speed and the phased deployments, and how enterprises grow new capabilities while keeping, like day-to-day operations running smoothly.
Definitely. Thank you for that detailed breakdown, Irfan. And it helps us understand how VDart Digital is reimagining scalability for modern enterprises. And yes, I think I agree with you when while we're deploying these solutions and when we say that there's some level of disruption that is inevitable. And I think that's where most enterprises struggle, especially with legacy systems or distributed teams. And now we have these evolving customer expectations, and when all of these collide, I think that creates more problem for organizations today. So I would love to go deeper into this and talk about another aspect in terms of the multi-cloud environment. Of course, today organizations are now developing a multi-cloud or a multi-year strategy where they are leveraging infrastructure as a service, or software as a service, and even platform as a service. Now, while this multi-cloud approach brings diversification benefits, the cyber risks become more complex because ascertaining the identity of a person, service, or machine, or to provide access to relevant data or capability becomes harder. So, as cloud complexity and identities increase, organizations fall further behind in ensuring that clouds are properly configured and monitored. So, why is cyber resilience becoming a business imperative for multi cloud environments?
Absolutely. And this is what keeping, all the C-suite executives and the boards at night. There's the pace at which we are scaling. And, the leaders are usually talking about cyber resilience as something every business must have, and especially in a multi-cloud world. Now, imagine a setup where systems keep running even if one cloud fails and an attack happens or a partner platform is compromised, and which we have been seeing quite a bit lately, right? And so, how do we manage that is what is more important, and how do we plan for it, minimize that disruption? It's becoming inevitable. You cannot expect for it to not happen. So many CEOs say cyber resilience is just an IT topic anymore. It's a board level survival issue, right? It's heavily dependent. The businesses are, it's not only digital is transforming technology, but digital is now transforming businesses, right? So it's a lot of business transformation that's taking place because of digital and AI, right? So the more clouds, the apps, and the services a company uses, the harder it becomes to secure everything. And visibility gets fragmented. Old and new security tools don't always align. And resilience isn't achieved by buying more tools. It actually comes from preparedness, practice, and disciplined response. So the threat landscape itself has also challenged, right? It's has changed quite a bit. And not too long ago, a decade or so ago, many cyber incidents were caused by accidental missteps. But today, AI has simplified or amplified those attacks dramatically. Something as simple as an auto incrementing account number in a banking workflow can be easily exploited by AI powered scripts, which can harvest massive amounts of customer requests in minutes. So this means, the attackers don't need to be highly skilled, and AI gives them the advantage. So how do we, proactively handle this is what becomes more important. So boards are stepping in because cyber risk has become a strategic, financial, and also reputational. If leadership is not involved in this crisis readiness, the organization simply isn't prepared. So what we focus when we are putting together a solution for our clients, it could be across industries, and it's, some industries would require, like banking and highly regulated industries, would require a little bit more attention than other industries. So how do you build, resilience by combining security engineering with practical recovery strategies is what, we start off with, right? Something as simple as, asking some fundamental questions, right? Like, what do we do when something happens? How fast can we recover? What does it cost if we don't? So if we start asking these questions when you're building or modernizing your technology, it will give you a lot of insights. And then you can plan, architect, and build that solution accordingly. And even a basic, you can avoid some basic ransomware attacks that can shut down the operations. So ensure that, based on your industry that you're in, and what kind of backups you need to have, what are your failover mechanisms, and you need to build those playbooks. So real resilience is not about fancy technology, it's all about readiness. And when it happens, how do you quickly recover, and how the leadership gets involved. So multi-cloud makes this more complex. And as you rightly said, it's distributed global workforce, and it adds furthermore complexity to that. And every country is coming up with their own laws and regulations. So how do you take those into account when you're building these solutions, right? And so that's why it's important that cyber resilience becomes a core business responsibility.
Definitely, and that's a powerful perspective, Irfan. And I think cyber resilience in a multi-cloud world truly feels less like an add-on now and more like a foundational business capability. I think the way you explain the shift from reactive security to proactive intelligence-driven resilience, it really highlights how enterprises can no longer afford fragmented protections or siloed cloud strategies. I think it's more about ensuring trust, continuity, and adapting at scale. Having said that, I think we are at a point where I think edge AI is a fundamental shift in how industries process and leverage data. And to stay competitive in the coming years, organizations need to start planning their edge AI strategies today. So, what is your vision for the future of edge and cloud, Irfan, and what are the company's growth strategies?
Yeah. So I think it would definitely talent plays a vital role in that transformation, right? And edge is transitioning from AI to edge. It's going to have challenges, right? There's a lot of excitement around edge AI, no doubt about it. And that's the next evolution, which is definitely going to help faster decisions. But we need to be careful about the privacy, and while it's going to reduce the cloud costs significantly. So at the same time, the reality is a little bit more complex, and moving from cloud AI to edge introduces an entirely new class of challenges, right? Which is like edge devices don't always have strong compute power, and networks can be unreliable across regions. Managing, and still we still have this old infrastructure buildings, which has, it doesn't support the infrastructure that's needed for edge. So there's a modernization that's required. If you're building something new, and that takes away that, you can consider even in your building architecture, right? I'm talking about physical buildings. You can plan for what you're standing up today or tomorrow, or in the next couple of years. But we do have very old infrastructure, not just technology but physical infrastructure as well. So there's a lot of modernization that's required in that space as well. And unlike cloud models that can be large and universal, its systems must be very deterministic. They need to be optimized and use, in a specific use case related configurations.
Definitely. And I think as we stand at the dawn of this new AI era, it's clear that hybrid AI represents more than just a technological advancement, it's a paradigm shift in how we approach problem solving with AI. And by combining the best of various AI worlds, we are creating systems that are smarter, more reliable, and better suited to tackle the complex challenges of our time. Thank you so much, Irfan, for taking out the time and effort to be on a podcast today and helping us understand that hybrid AI intelligence and edge AI is leading the charge in this new frontier, promising a future where AI can be both incredibly powerful and trustworthy. And as this technology continues to evolve and mature, we can expect to see it playing an increasingly central role in shaping our world. Thank you so much, Irfan, for your insights. It was lovely chatting with you.
Absolutely, and thank you so very much, Priya. Again, wonderful questions, and that's we're living in great times where technology is going to transform all our lives. Sometimes it could happen rapidly, and it could happen at a pace that we don't even anticipate that it will happen. So that's what this reality is, and we are living that. And the transformation, whatever it took 10 years to get transformed with Gen AI, and we can clearly seeing that there's been a huge transformation just in the last 1 year. So imagine what the next year or the next couple of years, in the few years, the amazing life that we all are going to live with the help of augmented technology, and how technology is going to augment that, and how it's going to make our lives, not only we are going to be very dependent on technology, no doubt about it, but how we can look forward to the next big things in our lives is what is technology bringing today, and how do we manage that, how do we responsibly utilize that, and that becomes very important. And everybody needs to be a player in this transformational world, and we got to take our own responsibilities seriously. Even as users, we got to continue to educate ourselves, and what's best for us, and utilize what we are comfortable with. And thank you to all your listeners, and hope they enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you, Irfan, definitely. So, this is for our listeners. Stay tuned for our upcoming podcast, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Meanwhile, you can view all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.